Drummers Universe.
Hi, Russell. How are you doing?
Hi, Ali. Great. Thank you very much for asking me. This is going to be great fun.
Oh, it's brilliant. And thank you so much for agreeing to chat with us. So, everybody at Drummers Universe, I'd like to introduce you to Russell Gilbrook of right now Uriah Heep fame, but there's a whole lot more to Russell that you're all going to be absolutely flabbergasted by. Well, I was anyway. I didn't know the whole history, but Russell is a beast of a drummer, powerhouse drummer. If you've ever had the opportunity to see him play with Uriah Heep, I mean, it leaves you breathless. He's got some interesting views on learning to play the drums and the mastery of the kit. But we'll just get straight into it. Drummers Universe now, we've got 108,000 members.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And they're all active and they're all great. We've got a massive team of moderators in the background. So there's round the clock moderation and it's kind of three strikes you're out, but mostly people play nicely. But the moderators are really on top of it. You know, if there's anything a little bit too negative, you know, we encourage. We're not nannies, you know, we're not policing and censoring as such, but unless it gets rude, and some people can. There's some keyboard warriors that, you know, think they know better, and then we have to just check. So we've got the checks and balances in place. And generally speaking, you know, we've got a brilliant group of members, good team, pro artists on board, and it's just a fantastic group. So Russell is a member and has been for quite some time. So we're absolutely delighted now that we finally get to talk to you, Russell. So I'm just going to get straight in there with a question that I'm not sure anybody's ever asked you before. Have you got drumming shoes? That special pair?
No,
No.
I don't have drumming shoes, but I do. I was born with club feet, so I wasn't actually even supposed to be walking, standing up, even playing the drums. So back when I was a little baby, I was the first person in the world to have this um, special operation on my feet because my feet were born upside down and inside out. So I had to break my ankles and reset everything. So I've got limited movement in my ankles. Um, so as a result of that, I've found that Adidas trainers, when they've worn in a little bit after a week or so, they actually give me the width that I need that make my feet comfortable. So I tend to use Adidas trainers all the time to play the drums with.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. I never expected that as an answer, Russell.
I,
Never
I
in a
don't. I
million
don't
years.
usually. I don't usually speak about my issue with my feet because I don't consider myself, if you want to call it, disabled because they've done a marvelous job with my feet. However, I can't never play with my heels down because I don't have the movement. So
Right.
I have to play basically I have to play with the whole of my leg. So I have my right foot has a bit of a pivot, and
Mm.
my left foot hardly any pivot. So I have to play with my legs. But I found my own way of doing fast 1 foot and fast 2 feet. So it hasn't really hindered me at all. The only time I would say it would hinder me is I wouldn't be able to play in a thrash metal band that play 200 BPM for 5-6 minutes. It's like doing 100 meters for a mile. You wouldn't be able to do it. I can't do that with my whole leg because I haven't got any kind of ankle movement that allows me to play at those kinds of speeds. But I get myself around playing double pedal very well, and I use it in in the way in which I think it fits, where I don't need to play 200 BPM. In fact, I got asked for two tours to do it, and I gave it to my good buddy Jason Bold. Do you know Jason Bold?
I know the name, I don't know him
Beautiful
personally.
friend he plays with.
Yeah.
Um, great metal drummer, really good metal drummer, and he's got fantastic feet. So
Wow.
I passed the tour on to him because I knew that I wasn't capable, and I knew he would be able to do the tour.
Well, I mean, to say it hasn't held you back is a massive understatement.
Well,
No, if
double pedal is one of these things that people get wrong and their misconception on what a double pedal is all about. Everybody should have a double pedal, regardless, because it's not about da 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 dig, 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 dig. It's not about that. A la Louis Belson. Louis Belson wasn't a death metal drummer,
right,
right?
right,
And Dave Weckl played and double pedal, and so does Steve Smith, and so does Vinnie Colaiuta, so does Dennis Chambers, right? They're not metal drummers.
right.
And what it is, it's another bass drum beat with
Hmm.
your left foot that has a different dynamic to playing two beats with one foot.
Yeah,
So rather than having your left foot just on the hi-hat doing nothing, you can add another bass drum beat. So that's the way to look at a double bass drum um, setup or a twin pedal setup
hmm,
is it's two bass drum beats, not necessarily a death metal 16th note groove.
no, completely agree. Talking about pedals, what do you use?
Well, I just signed to DW, but I have been using Pearl eliminators because I just find them to be the most consistent. But over the years, over many years, um, I'm not fussy about pedals. I'm more fussy about the beaters. I can't stand the little beaters.
Yeah.
I find that the 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 response you get from the little one, for me,
Mm.
I find I don't get a quicker response than a normal size beater.
Right.
I don't like the round ones. I find that there's something about the response that doesn't I don't like.
Yeah.
But as far as pedals are concerned, to me, it's all about the spring tension, the angle of the beater, and how far down the beater is. And then you let your technique do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. So while we're on the subject of gear, what other preferences have you got, or do you endorse?
Well, I've literally just signed a year ago to WFL3, which is Bill Ludwig's new company. So Bill Ludwig is the last guy of the Ludwig family.
Right.
Um, Obviously, they had a big fallout, which is why Ludwig isn't with Bill Ludwig, and Ludwig's not with Ludwig. He's got WFL3, and they are obviously based in America. There's some news that I can't really talk about at the moment regarding WFL3, which is very exciting for the whole of Europe.
Sure.
Um, but the drums are absolutely phenomenal. I went to the factory in Kansas City. I
Yeah.
saw them made. I've hit them. I've smelt them. I've licked them. I've tasted them. I've hit them, as you should do. And they are fantastic. They're 6 ply, but the thickness of the old Ludwig 3 ply
Oh,
reinforcement rings, and they just sing. And that's what I want. That's what I like about a drum. I want the drum to resonate as much as it can, because you can always calm it down with moon gel or whatever you wish to use, but
right.
you can't open it up.
Right.
So the whole point of a drum is it's supposed to sing, and then you can accommodate the dampening to suit the style of music or what the uh, producer or artist requires. Um, I'm not a massive dampening guy. I just have a tiny protection racket pillow in my bass drum.
Yeah.
I don't have any moon gel on any one of my drums, including the snare drum. Even in recording, the producer, Jay Ruston, who's a fantastic LA producer from America, did the last two Uriah Heep albums.
Mhm.
I played the drum kit and I said to him, "Look, I'm open. You're the producer. You tell me what doesn't sound right." He said, "The kit sounds fantastic."
Oh,
He said, "It doesn't need any dampening at all." He said, you know how to tune them, you know how to hit them, and the drums are breathing.
Yeah.
You start to dampen a drum, you see. What happens is it actually gets quieter. The frequencies are getting lost. The nice overtones that when you tune a drum, you get nice overtones. Once you start to dampen them off,
Yeah.
they can't now project through the frequencies of the other instruments. This is
Right.
what people don't realize. The clank of a snare drum, that ring of a snare drum, if you start to shut it off, it gets swallowed up with other frequencies from other instruments. Certainly on recordings, you won't even hear it.
Right.
That's why the drums are, we can't really hear the drums very well. No, well, you've just done the damage. So the projection part of a drum kit is the overtones and the ringing of it.
Yeah.
What you hear and ring sitting behind it isn't what you hear 20 feet away.
Yeah.
And people got to bear that in mind.
No, that's true. Yeah. Sometimes it's a bit over the top, too much damping of everything.
Don't get me wrong. There's sometimes when it's needed. Of course it is.
Yeah.
You're playing a tight pop gig or,
Yeah.
as you say, hip hop gig or something like that that requires a much tighter sound
Mm.
because everyone else is tight. Then that's fine.
Yeah.
But on other situations, certainly in rock and certainly in jazz,
Mm.
uh, you can't damp. I don't know any jazz drummers that dampen anything.
No, no. You
It's not
lose
the
it.
done thing. It's got to
Yeah.
breathe
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, it's a musical instrument. It's still got melody. Drums are still melody,
Yeah.
and you start taking away the ringing, they become boxes. They don't become melody.
Yeah. And there's nothing worse, is there, than it sounding like a cardboard box?
Right.
So I want to talk to you about Uriah Heep, obviously, and how you got the gig. People are very interested to know how, when a drummer, steps into a band like that, that's already got that legacy and got that reputation. But prior to that, way back, I think you started drumming at a very early age, didn't you?
Oh.
Walk me through the kind of progression, and some of the artists that you've played with that people would, it's eye-popping. I did a bit of research, before we talked, but I'm sure you've got a few surprises to come out for us.
Well, I was born playing the drums, apparently, according to my parents. Yeah, I said I was born with club feet, and at the time when I was two, I had plaster casts on my legs,
Right.
and I used to crawl myself over to my mum's Hoover, and I used to put my head on the Hoover for the vibrations. And then my dad was a semi-pro keyboard player,
Right.
and when he used to play, obviously he used to tap his foot for timing. I used to go and put my hand on it. And then I used to, when the radio was on, get plastic bowls out with spoons. And obviously I couldn't play the drums, but I'd tap along to the melody because that was the only thing that stuck out to me.
Yeah.
So there was something going on there, and so from because of that, my parents then took me to drum lessons when I was four,
Wow.
and I was in a band when I was six. I was earning £30 a week doing the working men's clubs, which were really good back then. Not so much now, perhaps.
Yeah.
Back then, they were a living for a lot of artists and people. So I was doing a lot of that. I was only £30 a week there, and then um, obviously I had one of the greatest drum teachers the UK had, which is Bob Armstrong,
Oh yeah.
famous drum teacher. And I became his number one dep for a long time. And so when he used to do shows in London and he couldn't do it, I used to get the call. And I got the call to do this one particular Saturday matinee. Everybody was busy. So I got the call from Bob. My dad took me up to the West End, rushed in, sat down. The MD come flying out with the folder of drum manuscript. I was 12 years old. Started talking to my dad. My dad stopped him after 5 minutes. Said, "We don't go talk to me about it. I'm not a drummer." well, where's the drummer then? And he pointed to this tiny little kid, which was me with a little lemonade. He had a
Oh,
heart attack. He said, "You got to be joke. This got to be a joke." I said, "It's not a joke. He's Bob Armstrong's dep." He said, "It's a professional show in London, you know." Anyway, once he calmed down, he came over. He said, can you read then?" "Yeah." "Well, I've been taught to read, you see."
right.
Um, "Well, this is all the charts are here." I said, "Right." He said, "Well, don't you want to even look at it?" "No, I look at it when I play it." And I went up the site, read it. But because I didn't
Brilliant.
different, I'd been taught by Bob and I could read everything and I was fine doing all that. And as a kid, you don't have the fear of anything because you haven't got the experience of the fear. Obviously, I didn't have groove back then. I didn't understand groove, but I could read anything. So, and in a West End show, it's not about groove. It's about sight reading the parts, really.
Right.
I just sat down and did it, and I didn't think
Amazing.
anything of it. So I did quite a few of the West End stuff when I was 12. I also toured with um, a lot of your people might not even know this, but Peters and Lee they had a number one record called Welcome Home and stuff like that. Well, um, Lenny Peters, the blind guy, I went on tour with him when I was 14 for 4 weeks. And after 3 days, I got called in to his dressing room because I was getting more applause than anybody else. Because obviously I was a kid on the drums.
Right.
He got introduced. He couldn't work out why. So he called me in and then he found out and he congratulated me and everything like that. So in
Oh,
an early age, I was thrown into deep end doing a lot of professional work.
yeah.
And that's really how I grew up to not really, but I was never nervous because I don't know any different.
Yeah.
My dad was a big jazz nut, and so was my drum teacher. And so all the time in between doing any gigs that I did, they took me around the jazz clubs and everything, and I used to just sit in with all the jazz guys.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't know any different. I adored playing the drums. So nothing mattered to me. I didn't have anyone to look up to. It was my dad and my teacher were the two people I idolized.
Yeah.
I didn't have a drummer because I was just practicing and playing and practicing and playing and practicing and playing. And I didn't have a reason to catch on to anybody.
That's amazing.
And it just went on from there. And, um, you know, doing all that jazz stuff and then doing the shows in the West End, I didn't even know about rock. No one told me about pop business or rock. That was alien to me. I didn't know anything about it
Right.
until I did one show in the West End, which was called Handicap, which was based on a
Oh,
cartoon
yes.
strip from the Daily Mail, I think it was.
My dad used to love that handicap. And didn't he have a shaggy dog? Um, oh yeah. Oh, that took me right back.
It was a musical in London,
Yeah.
and again no one could do it, and I got asked to do the musical, and I did the whole. It was my first West End show on my own, if you like.
Yeah.
All the others have been Deps, and that's when I first met Alan Price. He wrote the musical. He's a keyboard player from the Animals,
Yeah.
right? One of the greatest '60s bands. And I met Alan from then, and from then he had trouble with his drummer. He asked me to join, and I stayed with Alan for 6 years. And from Alan, had the same booking agent as Chris Barber's Jazz and Blues Band.
Right.
And from Alan, I went to Chris Barber, which was fantastic. I got all my dad's records out then because he had all the old Dixieland, New Orleans jazz records, and I had to now listen to Baby Dodds and get an idea how to play Snake Rag and all do things. I had to play it all on snare drum and everything,
Yeah.
and learn the feel of the second line drumming.
Mhm.
And when I did tours with Chris Barber, we toured with Robbie Gallagher, right, on guitar, which was phenomenal. Dr. John on
Yeah.
keyboards,
Yeah.
Harold Ashby, one of Duke Ellington's sax players.
Wow.
And I remember sitting down at breakfast with Howard Ashby, and I just said to him, "Please, just tell me, what's my ride cymbal like? what's my ride cymbal like? Because, in jazz, the whole thing,
It's everything. The right
quality,
hand, yeah, yeah.
and it was great. He just turned and say, "You're swinging great. You're swinging great." And then
Oh,
we did some festival. Obviously, Chris Barber was very, very big in Europe, playing in front of 5,000 people a night. And we do some festivals. And this guy came up to me. He went, "I've got to say, for a white guy, you really swing well." Right? And I went, "Oh,
brilliant.
thank you, mate. Thanks very much." I walked away, and the bass player said, "You don't know who that is, do you?" I said, "No." He said, "It's Ed Thigpen." So I went legging it back over and said, "Oh, sorry, hello, Ed." I had a good chat with him, and I wanted to ask him, what can I improve on? What have I got to do? Blah, blah, blah. Because that's what you're supposed to do, musician. You're supposed to embrace the experience of people who are fantastic.
Yeah,
Because I don't know anything, and even today I don't know everything. Even today I want to learn, I want to nick, I want to borrow, I want to steal, I want to talk, I want to give back, which is why
yeah,
I'm on here. I want to
yeah,
give back to
yeah,
try and help people because it's such a fantastic instrument. We
yeah,
all play it different, but
yeah.
any little bit helps.
Oh, Russell, last year at the UK drum show, was it last year or the year before? I caught you jamming with Greg Bissonette
Oh, year before.
down on the Dixon stand, and my jaw was just dropped. I mean, I love the pair of you, and but together, and the crowd, I don't think anybody blinked. Everybody was just mesmerized. You two would just talk about groove. That
We
was
go back
it.
a long way,
Yeah,
Greg, because in
yeah,
the early days of Mapex,
yeah,
when we were both Mapex artists, we did loads of clinics all over the UK every year, about 40 or 50 of them.
yeah,
And I've always been mates with Greg since I first met him in those Mapex days.
yeah.
And it was the first UK show the year before last, just gone. I've been able to attend because I've always been on tour.
Right.
So I went there with my wife and my little baby.
Mhm.
And he, kno- he, I saw him straight away. We went up and had a good old hug and a good old chat. He come legging it up to me. He saw me on the second day. He went, "Russ,
Yeah.
please, please, can you come and have a jam with me? I know you don't endorse Dixon, but can you come and have a jam with me?" He said, "I need someone good to have a jam with. I want to have a bit of fun. And I know what you're like because we used to jam when we did clinics together."
Mm.
And that's how it started. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
such a great guy and such
Right.
a great player. My God.
Fabulous. I've got the little Dixon drum money box thing
Oh,
that he signed for me, and
oh,
I treasure it. It's up there. This is my drum studio, by the way.
that's lovely.
It was the original Irish cottage on the property from like centuries back, and it didn't
Wow.
have a roof, and it was covered in like 20 layers of concrete. But we had some fantastic contractors, and they just created this. I mean,
Yeah, it's fantastic.
it's lovely. It's got great acoustics. So you are welcome to come over and have a jam over here
Oh,
anytime.
Love Island. Brilliant.
So we've got to that point. You've also got other artists that you've played with. You've thrown out some names. I mean, Tommy Cooper, really. You know.
Yeah, I did the cabaret. I was in with this basically I got in with this big um agent guy
Right.
who used to book a lot of the back then there was a lot of variety in cabaret acts.
Mhm.
But I got in with an MD that used to book the bands. So as a kid, he used to book me to do the um um, Lena Martell and Patti Boulay. These are all artists. We're going back in the 80s, right? So maybe some of your listeners might not be old enough, but the ones that are old enough are Lena Martell, Patti Boulay, Bernie Clifton, Tommy Cooper, Little and Large. I did all of that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, which was another experience in itself for me. Fantastic. It's all reading.
Yeah.
And it's all watching. You've got to have big eyes and big ears when you want to play the drums, and and that runs right the way through to watching an MD, to watching the artist, to watching your fellow musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing changes. It's
Yeah.
just a different format of discipline that you put into your craft in a different musical situation.
Yeah.
Um, so. as a result of that, I got all that under my belt. Then I got with Alan Price, as I said, through Alan Price, um, the one of his keyboard players, Dave Rhodes, who was the MD for Blood Brothers in the West End for a lot of years. He was in with RCA Records, and
Right.
that's how I got to do the sessions with Five Star, which was a pop band in the 80s, John Farnham, and Boy Meets Girl.
Oh,
So I
right.
did quite a lot of that, and that's when I got my first ever endorsement with Sabian cymbals because I did the Montreux Rock Festival with John Farnham.
Oh, lovely.
And I got approached by Pasty, Zildjian, and Sabian. And I was, how old was I? I was uh 60, I was 22, right?
Yeah.
And I shit myself because no one had told me about endorsements. I didn't know anything about it. And then suddenly I've got all these people coming up wanting to give me free gear and asking about this and this and that. Don't go with him, go with me. And I was like, I don't know what the hell to do.
What's going on? But you've
Well,
been with Zildjian for a long time, haven't you?
I'm not with Zildjian now. I've been with Pasty 20 years now.
Oh, is it
I
pasty?
was with Zildjian for a long time.
Oh, right.
I was with, I've got a really funny story of how
Oh,
I
give
left
the
Zildjian.
memo.
You hear the funny story how I left Zildjian?
Yeah.
Because I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Basically, get this, you listeners, you'll love this. I hope the popcorn's going well.
Right.
Um, I got the sack from Zildjian as an endorsee. I think one of the very few I got fired.
Oops.
And what happened was, right, bearing in mind, we're in the music business, number one, we're in the rock and roll business, number two,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of rock and roll's gone out of the business. You know, people don't throw TVs out the hotel rooms anymore, and I'm sad about that. That was the fun part of rock and roll, driving Rolls Royces into swimming pools and throwing TVs out of. Anyway, so what happened was every year Zildjian had an artist get together in London. So they
Right.
have an artist get together. There might be some prototype symbols you talk about. The artists who weren't on tour would get together, have a drink, have a chat, show some products, a nice little get together for Zildjian artists. So I go along and I've had a few drinks and I've been waiting on a prototype ride symbol because I'm quite particular about a ride symbol that I like. So I don't want to mention names. So person working for Zildjian turns around and says, Russ, we've got the prototype that I think you're going to love for your symbol. It was made for Zach Wild and Zach Wild is made for Zach Starkey,
Right.
uh, but he doesn't like it. But we think you're going to like it. I went, oh, okay, brilliant. So anyway, it's there and I love it. It's exactly what I specified, basically.
Right.
So anyway, I've said to a few of my Zildjian buddies, um, I'm going to nick that symbol. I'm going to take it home with me. I'm going to see how long it takes for them to realise.
You did
So
not.
I did. And then, because I'm a golfer as well. So I'm on the golf driving range. 2 days later, I get a phone call. I'm on the golf driving range. And the Zildjian representative turns and says, Russell, yeah. Oh, it was really good. I enjoyed that a couple of days ago. Uh, we're one symbol down. We've lost a symbol. Now, I've got a feeling you might have a symbol of ours. I went, oh, you got me. I thought it might have taken a week, but he's done it in 2 days. No, we're not happy, Russ. What do you mean? What do you mean we're not happy? Well, the Americans were over from the Zildjian American representatives were over from America. They're not happy at all. They consider this to be very, very serious indeed, and we're going to have to let you know, let you go. Oh, don't be so blooming stupid. I said, what are you talking about? I said, what do you think I'm going to do? You think Zildjian are going to go under because I've taken a symbol? I said, and what do you think I'm going to do? Run to Sabian and paste it? I said, for goodness sake. I said, it's just a flipping laugh. What's the matter with everybody? Well, I got a letter in the post 2 days later with, thank you for your services, no longer needed.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you when it was. It was in the beginning, it was the end of February. I'll tell you why. Because I had to play at the Frankfurt Music Fair in March. and now I had no cymbals. I turned up to play at the Frankfurt Music Fair and legged it to Pasty, who signed me on the spot.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, that is a story. And our listeners, our members definitely love to hear the backstage stories.
Oh,
The
I don't
inside.
advise it for anybody because you got to play the game in this business. So I do understand it, but at the end of the day, come on, it's rock and roll for goodness sake.
And
What
I'm
do you
sure.
think Keith Moon would have done? He would have taken the whole set home.
He would. He'd have probably thrown it out of the window along with the TV, right? And then drove the Rolls Royce into the pool.
Going to go under as a result, but times change,
Yeah.
and sometimes it just doesn't suit the narrative of some hierarchy people, I suppose. But it doesn't bother me because I love my pasties, and for rock, they're just phenomenal. I love them.
They're
They've been
wonderful.
fantastic.
Do you know what? I lived for years and years and years. I moved from Switzerland, but I lived in Switzerland for a very long time, and still have not made it to the pasty factory.
Oh, you got to go.
I know. I was chatting on with Kelly, and I were exchanging emails. Oh, last year I was going over because I was recording an album with a blues band over there. And I desperately want to go over, but it's just, you know how it is, it's timing. And you just, there's not enough hours in a day. But I will make it to there one day, definitely. Did you get to do the gong?
I did.
Did you?
I've got one particular gong. I can't remember the size of it now. My God, I didn't feel. It makes you feel really uncomfortable. They've got this gong that's so big, they build it up, and the whole flipping factory shakes. It's unnerving. It's phenomenal, though.
So let's fast forward a bit now to your current gig with the amazing Uriah Heep guys. How did that come about? What were you doing just prior to that?
Well, I was actually doing a lot of sessions and a lot of clinics, and what it was I used to, as I said, going back to where I used to do a lot of clinics with Greg Bissonette. Right, I was on at one point. I was on the scene when I was doing a lot of clinics in the whole of the UK, and I got a really good reputation as being a really good clinician. And I got asked back to there's about 6 or 7 places within the UK that I used to always get asked back every year, no matter what. And these were in the days where you play in front of 2, 3, 400 drummers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And one of the shops was Repercussion in Hull.
Right.
And that's where Trevor Boulder, who's dead now, bless him, but he was the bass player with Uriah Heep and also the bass player with David Bowie. He's one of the Spiders.
Yeah.
Fantastic bass player. Well, he lives in Hull. And when I used to do the clinics in Hull, Phil used to say to Trevor, "You've got to come and see Russ play. You've got to come and see Russ play." Well, because Uriah Heep were on tour a lot, every time I went there, he was on tour. But this one time he wasn't. And I was there. He come to see me play. I spoke to him afterwards. He said, "That's some of the best drumming I've seen in a long time. Are you staying the night?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I'm inviting you around my house for lunch tomorrow." I said, "Okay, brilliant. We'll have a chat." Brilliant. Okay, went round, had a chat. We become mates, didn't think anything of it. It wasn't until about 7 years later, we stayed in contact then. 7 years later, Trev called me up and went, "Russ, what are you up to?" Well, sessions, bits and pieces. He said, "Poor Lee, his health is deteriorating. We've just signed a recording deal with an 18-month world tour. He's not going to be able to do it. We're holding auditions, but I want to put your name forward."
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Right. Okay, right. Let me think about this. So anyway, the audition process was 240 drummers,
Oh, wow.
quite a few chances. And in the end, they whittled it down to the last 40 over 2 weeks at Terminal Studios, with a big studio. It's not there anymore in London.
Mm.
And this is what I tell it when I used to teach at BIM, and I used to, all the master classes I teach and everything, I tell everybody this story. This is what you got to be prepared for. Opportunities in this business do not come around the corner every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
When they come round the corner, you better make sure you're ready for them because
Yeah.
you ain't going to get a second chance. So this is why you've got to know how good you are. You've got to know what to play, how to play, when to play it. You do not put yourself under pressure. And when the opportunity comes, you take it and you be the best person you can be. So what happened was, Russ, we want you to come and do the audition. Okay. So it's over 2 weeks, right? When can you do it? Well, I'm busy the first week. I'm not. I'm free the whole 2 weeks, but I'm planning how to win the audition.
Strategy.
Right, strategy, right? And preparation. It's the
Yeah.
biggest word in the world, preparation. Okay, I can't do the first week. Okay, do the second week. Yeah. When do you want to do? I'll do the Wednesday. Oh, okay. Yeah, Wednesday. What time? 12 o'clock? Yeah, great. In it goes. Right, I'll let it go. I'm going to ring him up the next day and tell him I can't do it. This is my strategy because I want the last audition. That's the one you remember.
Right.
And there's another reason as well. So anyway, it comes up. I ring him up the next day. Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I've got a dentist appointment. I can't do the Wednesday. I can only do the Friday. You're still doing Friday? Yeah, we're still doing Friday. Okay. Well, who's in Friday? Well, we haven't got many in at the moment on the Friday. Oh, all right. Okay. Do you want to get 12 o'clock then? I said, actually, what time are you going on to? They said, well, we'll probably wrap it up about 5. I said, I'll tell you what. I said, can I actually do 4 o'clock? The last one? Yeah, of course you can. Of course they don't know, do they?
Right.
Okay, great. So you just got to bring your breakables or your sticks or your pedals. I said, no, I'm going to bring the kit. Oh, no one's bringing their kit. I said, no, I'm telling you, I've got to bring my kit. I said, that kit that you hire up, I will destroy in 8 bars.
Yeah.
I, I said, and as it's the last audition anyway, it doesn't make any difference, does it? Oh, no, it doesn't. Oh, great. Okay, you can have the last one. Right. So that's what happened. So when it come to that Friday,
Yeah.
I was auditioning at 4. I was up there 8 o'clock in the morning when the place opened at 9, having a coffee. Because I wanted to hear the competition.
Yeah.
So I wanted to relax. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
And I saw another 6, 7 drummers all there with the headphones on doing this. And I said to my wife, I said, they're not going to get it. She said, what do
Still
you mean they're not
practicing.
going to get it? I said, I said, shouldn't be practicing now going into an audition.
Yeah.
I said, I don't need to do anything. And they gave us five tunes to learn that covered the technical requirements of what was going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, they've had a tough day. They come out lunchtime. Oh, Russ, you here? Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. How's it going? Not bad. Few good. Okay. So I go in, start setting my kit up. So they said, have you learnt the 5 songs then? I went, no. And their faces drained like, oh my God. I said, I've learnt your whole set. I said, I can do a gig tomorrow. And the whole feeling was like, oh my God.
What?
And then I set up, and then one of them was about to, what do you want to do? I said, between two worlds, one of them about to count in. I said, hang on a minute, what are you doing? Just going to count. I said, no, it's my job. And again, I felt them go, oh, someone's taking charge. What a relief.
Yeah.
Did the thing, came off, talking to Mick, and after 5 minutes, I went, hang on a minute. I said, you talking to me like I got the gig. He said, you have. Now we're going to go around the pub and get pissed. And that's what happened.
What a brilliant story.
Preparation. Don't learn 5, learn the whole set.
That's fabulous. Well, we've got a few minutes left. So let's no, it's brilliant. I wish we could talk all night. We you've got your own theories about rudiments, which is very interesting to me. And you were going to talk to us about a double stroke roll and your way of teaching somebody. Because you've mentioned BIM, you've been a teacher for a long time, and you've definitely, there's no other Russell like you in the world. You're definitely one of a kind, but really, really excellent at what you do. So I think this is going to be valuable to a lot of people that wouldn't have a chance to have a one-to-one lesson with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, Russell's way isn't the way; it's a way.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrongs in this business. It's about getting results.
Yeah.
Know, if there was a right and wrong, then we'd either play match grip or orthodox, wouldn't we? And we don't. So the orthodox is fantastic. So is match grip. So is the French way, the German way, the American way. Right. So let's get that out of the way. And it's
Yes.
the same as rudiments. Rudiments are for Martin drummers. They're not for kit drummers. Right. Now, if you feel as though you want to learn all of the rudiments and work it into your kit playing, that's fine. It's not that I'm saying don't do it. I'm saying, in my experience, and I've got a lot of experience, and I've realised what's worked for me and what's accelerated my drumming to get to a level quicker and easier is by eliminating unnecessary things. Now,
Right.
even Dave Weckl says he only does 5 rudiments, right? So there's something to be said for plenty of people. I've spoken to plenty of people about this, right? Jazz is slightly different. In jazz, you can get away with playing more rudimental stuff because of the nature of how more improvised and expressive it is. You can't do that in 90% of the other music. You can't. What are you going to put? I've never heard a flam triplet in a rock setting. You know, if it is, it's been accidental or maybe prog rock,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But essentially, if you want to progress as a drummer, you need repetition. Is the only way to embed correct technique. That takes time, and most people haven't got time. So, what is 47 rudiments going to do to your time? Eat it up, and you're going to be crap at all of them. And the reason is a double stroke. The double stroke is the thing that stops people playing most of their rudiments well,
Right.
right? Because if the double stroke's rubbish, then your paradiddle's rubbish.
Right.
Right? And now you've got to do 3 strokes in a flam tap, and you can't do that because you can't even do 2 strokes.
Right.
Right. So you can go on all of the rudiments like that. You know, the 4-stroke rough, or they called it what do they call it? A 4-stroke 4 now, I think it is.
All
Right.
connected.
It's 2 single. It's 4 singles,
Yeah.
and then you get to a certain speed, it becomes 2 double strokes. Right. So you can't do that either.
Right.
So you go on forever like that. So my philosophy is nail your singles and your doubles. And
Yeah.
now they are in all of your other rudiments.
Right.
5-stroke roll, 2 doubles and a single. Paradiddle, 2 singles and a double. A
Yeah.
flam, quiet, single, loud, single. Right? The 4-stroke rough, 4 singles slowly, 2 doubles fast. I mean, go on forever with all of it.
Yeah.
So if you nail your singles and nail your doubles, everything else become a lot easier for you. And learning 2 things, you can now put that hour's work or hours allocated practice time into 2 things, not 47.
Yeah.
Now the secret of the double, right? And we won't argue. If you get me over there, I can show you in person because it's a fact. If you want power and those 2 beats to be slightly wider and certainly get them as even as possible, the shuffle stroke is how to do a double. When you do a shuffle, it's a double stroke.
Yeah.
But the way in which you make your wrist work is the opposite to how people show you to do a double. Most doubles are a throw and grab,
Yeah.
right? You throw and grab, you snap with the fingers. When
Mhm.
you do a shuffle, you don't snap with the fingers,
No.
right? You don't throw. When you do a shuffle, the emphasis is on the second beat.
Yeah.
And you can make that second beat as loud or as quiet as you want.
Right.
But what that does, it opens up. I've never heard a shuffle.
No.
Right,
No.
a shuffle, because it's got a swing that
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
Right. That's how you want your doubles. You don't want your doubles to be dee 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 dee. The doubles are supposed to be like your singles. Digga 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 digga. Nice and open, nice and even. So
Perfect.
the way in which you do the mechanical way in which you do a shuffle is how you're supposed to do a double.
That's a brilliant comparison explanation. Absolutely amazing. Russell, it's been a pleasure. I think we should do more of these because there's so much more that I wanted to talk to you about and ask you about. Just, can I just Can I just have one more question? I'm going to ask our film person here if I can just do one more quick question. Quick one. Outside of drumming, I mean, you've been on tour, you're touring, you're recording, you're doing everything, you've a young family as well. Like, I notice you've got your rock and roll jewelry on and you're a complete rocker, but do you, like some people collect things? Have you got anything that you do kind of outside of drumming? Are you a collector of anything? Or have you got something that is...
I'm a sportsman.
A what?
I would have been a sportsman if I wasn't.
Would you? What kind of sport?
Well, I love golf. I played to 5 handicap at golf, so I love
Oh,
golf.
wow. Okay. Okay. No, you definitely need to come over then because, yeah.
The thing is, on a golf course, it's so I do it not only because I love the game, but the only thing I think about is the next shot. So I can have something that's very therapeutic for me to just recharge the batteries of my brain from everything else that I've been doing.
Yeah.
And I'm also a table tennis player. Used to play table tennis for my county. And I'm a third dan in Kyokushinkai karate. So I'm more of that kind of thing, the sportier side.
Yeah.
That's my thing, really.
Well, you're definitely a winner, Russell, through and through. And whether it's sports or whatever, I'm sure you excel in everything because you give it 150%. I'm I hope I can get to see you guys play this year because, just seeing the video.
This year might be next year.
Will it be next year? Well,
On UK date this year, but maybe next year.
yeah. And if anybody out there, members, if you get the chance, you have got to see Russell playing live. And if you can't see him playing live, have a look at some of the latest videos of Uriah Heep because these guys are phenomenal. Amazing. So that said, Russell, have you anything else that you want to say to the members out there?
Oh, I just love the members. I love the fact that drummers love drumming and they love talking about drumming. And all I ever want to do is try and put back into the business of what it's taken me years and years and years to learn, to fail, to succeed, and to continue to grow as a musician. And I just adore giving back to try and help people be a better drummer.
That's wonderful. You make me cry now. Thanks so much, Russell. And we'll talk again soon.
Appreciate it. Thanks very
Thanks
much.
a million.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Drummers Universe.